Teardrop is one of the most popular characters in BFDI's history. After 5 seasons, Teardrop is easily one of the top 10 most popular characters, despite her being mute. And a lot of TV shows and cartoons try to make mute characters, but none of them really get the popularity as Teardrop does. So what did BFDI do right with Teardrop? When we first see Teardrop in Season 1, we don't really get to know that much about Teardrop. She doesn't really get a whole lot of screen time, but she still ends up being one of the most popular characters. We see that she is pretty good in the challenges, but that's about it. We don't really get to know any of her actual opinions on other characters or anything like that, and that sort of pattern continues into BFDIA. However, Teardrop's character gets most flourished and experimented with in BFB and Teapot. In early BFB before the split, we don't actually get to see that much of Teardrop except for the first couple episodes, and it's mostly when Lai tries to get Teardrop to talk by using Ice Cube, and then her old argument with Lollipop and Eggy. We do get to see a small connection with Eggy and Teardrop, but again, it's really not that experimented with, and also that team never really got that much screen time considering the fact they were only up for elimination once the whole season. However, when the split happens, Teardrop becomes one of the best characters in the whole show, and it's especially during the core episode when Teardrop really starts to flourish as a character. However, before this, we do get to see her challenge performance getting a lot better, and she becomes more mischievous. We knew she was good at challenges before this, but her challenge performance really started to take another level. I mean, she starts game planning a lot for her team for the challenges, and she uses her typewriter she gets in the core episode to help with other challenges within the future. And she's also very ruthless and cunning in the challenges, being willing to backstab or do anyone dirty in the challenge so she can win the challenge. But it's not in like a villainous type of way, I guess. It's more in a fun way, and that's what makes Teardrop's character so popular and loved within the show. And then we get to see her new dynamic with characters like Gelatin and Lollipop, which also make her character a lot more enjoyable because now she's getting actual dynamics with other characters. Not to mention that also the characters that she's with are also very liked characters. Her, Lollipop, and Gelatin start the Newbie Alliance, and it's probably one of the brighter spots of BFB post-split because a lot of people don't like this era of BFDI, but one positive note was this alliance, and it was always fun to see them compete together in challenges because their dynamic felt so fresh and not really like overused or anything that felt forced like the Leafy and Fiery arc. It's fun seeing them work together in challenges and trying to work against other characters like Flower and Leafy so they can win the immunities, and they get all the way until the final 5 together. And honestly, I think her best episode is even when Lollipop gets eliminated because we see her work together with Flower throughout the whole challenge and then backstabbed her. And that's what I like about Teardrop's character is I feel like it's unpredictable in so many ways because you don't really know if she's going to backstab one of her friends or she's actually trying to help them, and it makes the challenges more interesting because it makes you want to predict more what's going to happen. And then we also see this continue in Teapot. She joins Teapot in Teapot 2, and a lot of people thought that was controversial and didn't really like it, but I like Teardrop joining Teapot. And I feel like her being on her own team made it way more interesting to watch because we get to see her do way more in challenges and really see her full challenge strength. A lot of people thought she was too strong for her own good, but she did end up getting eliminated in episode 9, so it wasn't really that big of a deal in my opinion. However, we get to see her experiment with other characters like Eraser, and her rivalry with Eraser kind of felt like her rivalries in BFB, but a lot better because the animation's a lot better, and the story writing did get better this season, so it makes Teardrop's character even more interesting with a higher budget and higher quality show, and makes her fights and other stuff like that way more cool to look at. And it's honestly very impressive how the writers could put so much character into someone who is a mute character. And just to see her evolve and develop, and she's always been a fan favorite, but then especially Teapot and BFB definitely made her even one of the most popular characters within the own show. Teardrop is personally one of my top 10 favorite characters ever, so I feel like the writers really knew what they were doing with a character like Teardrop.